So in this video, as per usual, I am doing another debunk video on Key's video on his Naruto scaling, which I'm going to be pointing out the double standards and the terrible arguments that he's going to bring up. I got my editor to clip out the bad arguments of this video, and he told me pretty much the entire video is bad.
Which includes the manga and the novels, which are all acknowledged as canonical.
The primary canon is the original story, and we know that the original story, the progenitor of Naruto, is the manga, not the novels. The novels came after the manga, so you can't say that the primary canon is manga and novels. That's not true. There's also contradictions in the novels, which I'll get into in his second argument as to prove why they're not canon and just a separate continuity of Naruto. And not only that, but one of the authors states that the only true story is the original comic, which is the manga. So no, the novels are not the primary canon.
We've also been losing secondary canons such as the Boruto anime, certain Naruto movies, and the Storm series, as long as the information we're using doesn't blatantly contradict the manga.
None of these are canon. The Boruto movie is not canon because of the fight sequence between fused Momoshiki and Naruto and Sasuke are completely different. Momoshiki also looks completely different from the manga. Momoshiki is big, red, weird horns, and yeah. Whereas the manga version, he still looks like himself and has black markings, third eye, and two Rinnegan's in his hands. But anyways, the main focus is the fight sequence. In the manga, right, Naruto gets overpowered in base, he gets kicked one time, and then he goes into Sage 6 Pass mode, and then bodies fused Momoshiki, immediately. And then Sasuke, bodies him as well. He does one attack on him and sends him flying. And then after that, fused Momoshiki does Inukai something Migato thing, where it's these multiple wood, I don't even know what they are, but he does this weird attack where Sasuke has to cut off their heads, and Sasuke gets caught in one of them. Naruto saves him by cutting that one head off with Kurama's hands, and then after that they do their Susanoo plus Kurama avatar, and then they body the Golem version of fused Momoshiki. But in the movie, Sasuke gets caught in that one attack with those weird dragon heads, and then he gets burned. And then they do all this weird, well, not weird, but this awesome type of jumping on Momoshiki, but that does not happen in the manga. And then the novel version of the movie, Momoshiki absorbs some star, and then also absorbs chakra from a separate universe from the dimension that he created, or something like that, which that doesn't happen in the movie, the anime, or the manga. So clearly these are separate continuities, and obviously we have to go and use the primary canon, the original story, which is the manga, and say, well, if these don't line up, if the novel doesn't line up with the manga, nor the movies or the anime, then clearly they're not canon, but they're their own separate continuity. The movie in the middle of his little scan stuff, I forgot what it's all about. I haven't seen it in a long time, so I'm just going to ignore it. It's like from OG Naruto. Don't care. Road to Ninja is specifically just not canon because Naruto knows his parents. Also, Konoha isn't destroyed from Pain's invasion, so this happened before Pain, which means that he somehow knew his dad and his mom, which he only met Minato in the Pain arc after Pain destroys the village and he was going to go full Nine Tails. And he only met his mom when he was training with Killer Bee, and somehow he knows Killer Bee before the Pain arc, which doesn't line up, so it's not canon to the main story. And also Sakura knows who Minato and Kushina, which she only met Minato in the war arc and didn't even know Minato was Naruto's dad. She didn't even know his name. So the Road to Ninja movie is just not canon. And as I pointed out with the anime, it's also not canon because the fight sequence is completely different from the manga. In that fight, Sasuke uses Chubaku Tensei, but he doesn't do that in the main manga. So the anime is not canon, and obviously there's a lot of other points that I could bring up to show that it's not canon, but it's just going to be redundant at that point, and obviously I don't want the video to be too long. So none of these that he's shown are canon, and there's a lot of more contradictions in the novels, which I'm just obviously not going to get into, but I did point some of them out for you. So yeah, you can't use any of these unless you're saying novel Naruto or anime Naruto or manga Naruto or game Naruto. And I'll get into like the games and like point out the contradictions that he's going to bring up in the video.
This is because each of those is canon to some capacity. Kudoichi has worked very closely with the Boruto anime, and the anime even has entire arcs that have been adapted into the manga canon with multiple references to them in the manga itself.
Author involvement does not mean canon. The author will always be involved in anything officially that's got to do with their franchise. Obviously, fanfic doesn't really matter. Obviously, it's just fan fiction, so it doesn't matter. But anything like officially that's got to do with their content, the author will always be involved in to some degree. That doesn't mean everything that's officially published is now canon. And you bringing up like that one scan to say that, oh yeah, it references the movies or like the novels. First off, you didn't really prove that it does. You showed one scan referencing some school or whatever, but you didn't really show the novel scan that's got to do with that school, and you didn't even show like these multiple references. But even so, I would still say that doesn't matter, because you could simply argue that their pasts could be similar, but the story can still be different, such as the manga versions of the Momoshiki fight and everything is similar to the movie, but they're not one-to-one. That scene happened in like the other continuities, the novels, anime, movie, manga, but all of them are completely different. They have similar histories, but that doesn't mean that they are the same timeline. So when Boruto referenced some school that's in the novels, you could simply argue that, okay, that school may exist, but it doesn't mean that the events in that school or in that novel or anime or movie or whatever is one-to-one with the history in the manga because of the inconsistencies that I've brought up. So yeah, that doesn't mean it's canon. And also, there are canon characters in non-canon material, such as fillers and like other games and blah blah. It doesn't mean it's canon.
But to Ninja movie is also directly scripted by Kishimoto, with him checking and approving the entire storyboard and drawing a manga chapter that leads into the movie. Beyond that, the Road to Ninja movie is directly stated to also be tied up to the anime adaptation, which means it's also anime canon at the very least, and we even have an episode from the anime that directly leads into the movie, much like with the manga.
So for Kishimoto giving his approval, blah blah, I've already gone over that. Obviously, he's going to approve anything that's got to do officially do with his franchise. Doesn't mean it's canon. But as for the manga stuff that he brought up, that's just a promotional material for the movie, to promote the movie. It's not actually in the manga. Like, it's in manga format, but it's not in the manga story, like Naruto story. It's not a side chapter or anything like that. It's just something separated from the main story. So it's not 100% canon. Not every one shot is canon. And specifically with this story, with the amount of contradictions it has to the main story timeline, it's not canon. And as for the anime stuff that he brought up, so if you were to go to the anime on, or use just any anime site or app or whatever, they usually have something like this where they will show you what is canon and what's not canon. And as you can see, all this like dark shaded episodes, these are all canon stuff, and the light shaded ones are non-canon. So you know what's canon and what's non-canon, and you can just skip them and go straight to the canon material. And Road to Sakura is in the filler episodes. So if I were to go here, you can see it's light shaded, meaning it's filler, and he's trying to use this filler episode to prove that it's canon to the anime continuity. Filler episodes are not canon to the main anime continuity. So he's really pulling off a noodles again. And as for the other episode, which he says, well, not he says, but like on the scan it says it's episode 531, which is chapter 311. As you can see, this is the prelude of Road to Ninja, and it's in the filler episode bracket, so it's not canon. And in the scan that he tried to use to prove that the Road to Ninja movie and anime stuff is canon to the anime continuity, all it says is, and I quote, "To celebrate the release date of the 491 episode of Naruto Shippuden movie, Road to Sakura is now available on blah blah, so on and so forth." So it's a special edition, which is just promotional material, and we know that this episode is a filler episode, as I just proved to you. And the Hinata portion says, Hinata appears in the Chinese style dress she wore during episode 271 of Naruto Shippuden, Road to Sakura, which was released as a movie tie-in. So, and this episode is a filler episode. It doesn't actually tie into the anime storyline. And in that episode, Sakura gets like limited Tsukiyomi and her personality changes, which is never brought up in the manga or the main canon of the anime. So again, he's just using non-filler stuff, non-canon material And I'm sure you guys already know about like the rest of the stuff he's going to say, so I'm just going to skip into his power scaling.
The Sharingan in reality utilizes shadow release, which can be used to create things from nothing. This is seen with the Izanagi, which is a genjutsu that rewrites reality itself and is said to be an application of Hagoromo's jutsu to create things out of energy.
The Izanagi doesn't actually create physical illusions. The Izanagi can just rewrite the reality in which you die, or something that disadvantageous to you. It's similar to like the substitution jutsu, where if something bad happens to you, you substitute into like, I don't know, anything, a log, and then you don't receive that damage. This does not mean that every Uchiha that has the Sharingan can create physical illusions just because the Izanagi is a application to the creation of all things technique. There has been no illusions that is actually physical and can physically damage you, such as if you were to get punched, you retain the damage even after you break the genjutsu. So I don't know where he's coming from with Sharingan can create physical illusions because of Izanagi. Also, Izanagi has shown to be a defensive thing and not an offensive thing.